Howdy, Ricardo here in Bentley. Bentley always gets in the picture. Hey, babe. Let's talk about Egypt and Pharaoh and the nation of Israel. You know, Israel started out really good in Egypt. God sent Joseph there first and gave Joseph favor. He became the vice president of Egypt. Pretty much ran the show, getting ready for the famine. 7 years of famine. And then Joseph died. Joseph, the perfect picture of Jesus Christ in the Old Testament. Joseph died and Israel lost their favor, and Israel grew into the millions, and all of a sudden Israel found itself a slave under the yoke and bondage of slavery in Egypt. Does that sound familiar this morning? All of a sudden the yoke and bondage of slavery comes down, and you're quarantined in your homes, required to wear a mask, required to do this. Do you see that happen? Is the USA now Egypt? Remember, God's at work. Well, it got so bad that Egypt even killed the firstborn sons of Israel. Throw them into the Nile River so the alligators could eat them. Well, what have they been doing to babies in America? Ripping them apart, selling their body parts while we watch? Do you see a similarity there? We can't stop them. You know, I tried to talk to my senator for 3 months, talking to his secretary or his aide up there, one that takes his phone calls. I finally gave up. I offered to drive up there on my day off to just, give me an appointment, and I'd drive up so I could look at him and tell him, you're a murderer. You need to do everything you can to stop this. I almost came unwound when I found out they were selling baby parts. I mean, what? And you can't stop it. And don't give me politics. It hasn't stopped. It's still going on. Give me Jesus. Jesus is going to come and he's going to stop it. Anyway, back to Egypt. All of a sudden, Israel finds itself just under the thumb of Jezebel. You remember yesterday when I talked to you about the 18-foot tall statue on top of the Capitol dome? That's Jezebel. Jezebel's spirit. It's in Revelation. It's in the book of Revelation. She has to be in control. She has to have all the attention. Well, she's on top of the Capitol dome, and she's in control. And what you see, that's her hand. Remember, the real Jezebel was eaten by dogs, and she became dog excrement. That's fixing to happen again. Anyway, Israel cries out for a deliverer. And once the time span had come to pass where God told Abraham that his people would be in slavery and bondage, when that time span was up, God sent a deliverer. He sent Moses. And Moses went to war with Jezebel, Pharaoh, and all the gods that were worshipped there. And God had 10 plagues, and they all were pointed at the gods. Okay? You have a goddess on top of your Capitol building that's running things. And she's all over this country. She's everywhere. I told you it's in Marshall, Texas. It's not right. So Israel cried out for a deliverer, and God sent Moses. And what did Moses do? Moses delivered Israel. Moses took them across the desert. God miraculously provided for them, gave them a shade during the day. I believe with all my heart that there was this huge shade over Israel as they walked through the desert. God provided them food. He gave them a huge rock. I can show you that rock on the internet. It's split. A man can walk through it, and this river of water came up, and all these millions of Israelis and all of their animals could drink at one time. A miraculous delivery. Moses raised his staff and the Red Sea divided. Jesus Christ is going to speak, and the dimensional barrier is going to divide. And Jesus is going to lead his bride, his body, through that dimensional barrier, that water barrier that separates the dimensions. He's going to lead us through it. We've been set up. If you're a true believer this morning, if you have accepted what Jesus Christ did on that cross for you, then you're just waiting for deliverance. Jesus is coming, just as Moses came. We do find ourselves in slavery this morning, under the thumb of Jezebel. She's standing on us. But we have a deliverer coming. But you must believe. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, the first 4 verses. Jesus died, was buried, and was resurrected. All according to the scriptures. All according to the Old Testament. You have to believe that. And then you're sealed with the Holy Spirit. The same Holy Spirit that resurrected Jesus Christ from the grave is going to resurrect my mother and daddy that are in the grave and transform me, if I survive until then, transform me into an immortal. There are immortals that are running the show right now. Spirits. Rebel spirits. And they are in control, and you see their heavy hand on all of us. But that just tells you what time it is. It tells you it's time to go home. If your home is in heaven. God bless you. Have a great Monday.